Welcome to the Ramayan, stories of Dharm and Devotion. I'm Sandeep, your storyteller, guiding you through the timeless epic of Valmiki's Ramayan. While our narrative draws deeply from Valmiki's original work, we also weave in stories from other Indian texts to offer a wholesome understanding of this eternal tale. Today, we witness an extraordinary act of courage and sacrifice, the valiant fight of Jatayu, the noble king of vultures, against the mighty Raavan. Despite his age and frailty, Jatayu's unyielding sense of dharma propels him to challenge Raavan in a desperate bid to save Sita.
The Pushpak Viman soared high above the Dandaka Forest, its golden light casting long shadows over the lush green canopy below. Sita sat trembling within its confines, her heart torn with fear and defiance. As Raavan guided the chariot higher, Sita's mind raced. She could not allow herself to succumb to despair. Turning to the world around her, she invoked the spirits of the forest and nature, seeking their aid. Her eyes fell on the flowing river Godavari beneath the chariot. Stretching out her hands, she called to the river with urgency. "O goddess Godavari," Sita cried, her voice trembling yet resolute, "you who have nurtured and sheltered us during our exile, hear my plea. Ram and Lakshman must know of my abduction. Carry my message to them with your flowing waters, for I am taken against my will by this vile Raavan." The river seemed to ripple in response, its currents swirling as if acknowledging her words. Sita's tears fell like pearls into the churning waters below, carried by the river toward the ashram she had left behind. Next, Sita turned her gaze to the forest that stretched endlessly beneath her. "O forest goddess," she implored, "you who have witnessed our joys and sorrows, rise now to defend Dharm. Tell the trees, the shrubs, and the grasses to carry my cries to Ram and Lakshman. Whisper my name into the wind so that it reaches their ears. Let no corner of this forest remain silent to my plight." The trees swayed gently as though bowing in reverence to her plea. The wind picked up, carrying the sound of her cries through the dense foliage, weaving a symphony of distress that echoed across the land. Her voice grew louder, infused with both desperation and determination, as she addressed the flora and fauna of the region. "O flowers that I have adorned my hair with, O birds that have sung us songs of solace, O deer that have grazed near our ashram, spread the news of my capture to my Ram and my Lakshman. Tell them that Raavan, the king of Lanka, has torn me from their side." A flock of birds, startled by her cry, took to the skies, their wings beating in frantic unison as though carrying her message. The deer paused in their grazing, their wide eyes reflecting her sorrow as they scampered through the underbrush toward Panchvati. Raavan, seated arrogantly within the chariot, watched her actions with disdain. "Your cries are futile, Sita," he sneered. "The forest and its creatures cannot defy me. I am Raavan, the ruler of the three worlds. Even the gods themselves bowed to my power." But Sita's resolve did not falter. "You may silence the voices of men, Raavan, but you cannot suppress the will of nature. The trees, the rivers, and the skies bear witness to your crime, and they will not remain silent. My Ram will find me, and when he does, your arrogance will crumble." Her cries continued to resonate through the forest as Raavan urged the Pushpak Viman higher, his smirk unwavering. Unbeknownst to him, her words had already set the forces of nature in motion. The river, the wind, and the creatures of the forest carried her message far and wide, ensuring that her plight would not go unheard. The Pushpak Viman continued its journey, cutting through the skies above the vast expanse of the Dandaka Forest. Below, the cries of Sita, carried by the wind and whispered by the forest, reached the ears of Jatayu, the majestic king of vultures and a loyal friend of Dashrath. Resting on a towering tree, Jatayu's sharp eyes scanned the forest as the faint echo of Sita's voice pierced the tranquil air. His feathers bristled and his heart quickened. "That voice," he murmured, tilting his head, "it is Sita's. She is in distress." Spreading his immense wings, Jatayu took to the skies, soaring with powerful strokes toward the source of the sound. As he ascended, his keen vision caught the glint of the golden chariot streaking through the air. Perched within its confines, he saw the sorrowful figure of Sita and the imposing form of Raavan. With a mighty screech, Jatayu closed the distance, positioning himself between the chariot and its path. His shadow fell over the Pushpak Viman as his voice rang out, thunderous and commanding. "Raavan, king of Lanka." Jatayu roared. "What treachery is this? How dare you abduct Sita, the wife of Ram? Release her at once, or face the wrath of Jatayu." Raavan, his expression darkening as he looked upon the mighty vulture. "Who dares stand in my way?" he thundered. "Jatayu, you are but a bird, a frail creature compared to the might of Raavan. Step aside, lest I end your pathetic life here and now." Jatayu's feathers ruffled, his golden eyes blazing with defiance. "I may be a bird, Raavan, but I am a servant of Ram and friend of his father, the mighty kind Dashrath. It is my duty to protect the innocent and stand against the wicked. You have defiled the sacred bond of marriage by taking Sita, and for this you shall pay dearly." Raavan sneered, his voice dripping with arrogance. "You speak of fight, Jatayu, but do you know whom you challenge? I am Raavan, conqueror of the three worlds, slayer of Kuber's forces, and the chosen devotee of Lord Shiv. My power is unmatched. Your feeble wings cannot stop me." Jatayu flapped his wings, creating gusts of wind that shook the chariot. "Your arrogance blinds you, Raavan. You may have the blessings of the gods, but you have abandoned righteousness. Strength without righteousness is a path to destruction. Release Sita now, or I will not hesitate to use my might against you." Raavan's face twisted in rage. "Foolish bird, you dare defy Raavan? I will pluck your wings and cast you into the abyss. Step aside or meet your doom." Sita, her eyes brimming with hope, called out from the chariot. "Jatayu, noble king of birds, beware of Raavan's might, but do not let him take me. Ram will reward your bravery, and your name will be sung in the heavens." Jatayu turned his head slightly, his gaze softening as he addressed Sita. "Devi Sita, fear not. I am bound by my loyalty to Dashrath and Ram. I will fight to my last breath to ensure your safety." With a deafening cry, Jatayu launched himself at the Pushpak Viman, his talons outstretched. Raavan, undeterred, rose to meet him, his hands glowing with energy as he summoned his immense strength. The battle in the skies began, a clash of might and will that shook the heavens. Jatayu struck at the chariot with his beak and talons, tearing at its golden surface and attempting to unseat Raavan. Raavan retaliated with blows of his make, each strike aimed at the valiant bird. "Jatayu," Raavan bellowed as the fight raged on, "you are no match for me. Your valor is admirable, but it is futile. Surrender now, and I may spare your life." Jatayu, his wings outstretched like a shield, replied, "You may destroy my body, Raavan, but you will never conquer my spirit. As long as I draw breath, I will defend Sita and uphold my loyalty to Dashrath and Ram." Raavan, his patience waning, unleashed a series of devastating blows. Jatayu's feathers were torn, and blood stained the skies, but the valiant vulture fought on, his attacks relentless. Even in death, Jatayu said, his voice unwavering despite his wounds, "I will serve my loyalty. Ram will come for you, Raavan, and when he does, your arrogance will crumble." Finally, Raavan raised his sword, its blade gleaming with a sinister light. With a swift and merciless strike, he severed Jatayu's wing, sending the mighty bird spiraling toward the forest below. As Jatayu fell, his eyes remained fixed on Sita, filled with sorrow for his inability to save her. "Ram will avenge you, Devi," Jatayu whispered as the ground rushed to meet him. "Dharm will prevail." Raavan, his face etched with a mixture of anger and relief, urged the chariot onward. "Your protector has fallen, Sita. None can stop me now. Lanka awaits its queen." As the Pushpak Viman disappeared into the horizon, the forest grew silent, bearing witness to Jatayu's sacrifice. His body lay battered but dignified, a testament to his unwavering courage and loyalty. The skies mourned their fallen guardian, and the vines carried his story to the corners of the earth, ensuring that his heroism would never be forgotten. As Raavan's chariot soared into the skies, carrying her further from Panchvati, Sita's heart sunk with grief. She gazed downward, her eyes catching sight of Jatayu's lifeless form on the forest floor below. Tears streamed down her face as she clasped her hands together in reverence. "O noble Jatayu," Sita cried, her voice trembling with sorrow, "you fought with the courage of 1,000 warriors, standing against the mighty Raavan to protect me. Your sacrifice will not be in vain. As long as the story of Ram is told, your name shall echo through the ages. You will be remembered not as a bird, but as a hero, a guardian of Dharm." Her words floated on the wind, reaching the forest canopy and beyond, carrying her vow to the universe. Even Raavan, from his perch on the chariot, heard her lament, but remained silent, his expression unreadable. Determined not to let despair overtake her, Sita's thoughts turned to Ram and Lakshman. She knew they would come for her, but she also understood that she must help them find her. With a resolve born of desperation, Sita reached for her jewelry, her gleaming earrings, her delicate bangles, and the anklets that adorned her feet. One by one, she flung them over the edge of the chariot, each piece glinting in the sunlight before disappearing into the dense foliage below. Her actions carried both hope and defiance, a silent testament to her unwavering faith in Ram's love and strength. As each piece of jewelry fell, Sita whispered a silent prayer to the gods, to the forest spirits, and to the universe itself. "Guide Ram and Lakshman," she pleaded. "Bring them to me, and let Dharm triumph over Adharm." Raavan, sensing her movements but uninterested in her actions, focused on his destination. "You may leave your trinkets, Sita," he said with a sneer, "but no one will find you in Lanka. Its fortresses are impenetrable, and my armies are countless." Sita did not reply. Her gaze remained fixed on the horizon, her spirit unbroken. As the chariot continued its journey, her heart held onto a single, unshakable belief: Ram would come.
Jatayu's valiant fight serves as a timeless reminder of the power of courage and selflessness. Though he was old and frail, his unwavering commitment to Dharm and his loyalty to Ram inspired him to stand against the mighty Raavan. As we reflect on this tale, let us remember the importance of standing up for what is right, even in the face of insurmountable odds. Jatayu's sacrifice embodies the very essence of Dharm, protecting the innocent and opposing evil, no matter the cost. Thank you for joining me on the Ramayan stories of Dharm and Devotion. In our next episode, we will see how Ram and Lakshman begin their journey southward, meeting new allies and facing fresh challenges as they pursue Raavan and Sita. Until next time, may the light of Dharm guide your path and fill your heart with peace.